So before I get into all this insane news, the thing I want to just say up front is, this is 1 trillion times more important than the Super Bowl. This is 1 trillion times more important than polishing your Porsche or whatever. This is 1 trillion times more important than your golf game. And I know so many smart men that know this stuff's right. They tell me, hey, good job, Alex. But then I ask them, I said, what are you doing? Well, I bought something once from you, or I shared one of your links. Look, you don't even need to support me, but you need to do something. We need people to stop being spectators in this world. Think of everything as entertainment, and that you're not part of the world. You just look out as spectators. No, you've got to get in the game as the man in the arena. Because they got Trump encapsulated, they got him to totally start shifting. And every sign we see is he's getting belligerent and worse. So Trump walked into a trap. We predicted it a year ago with Kirk Elliott. This was one of their only moves. You now look at the body language of Larry Fink and other globalists. They look like they were dying 6 months ago. For the last year and a half, even before Trump got back in, they knew their own admissions were, we're done, everybody hates us. And now I look at Bill Gates when you see him pop up and Larry Fink, they look like 10 years has been put back on their life. They look like they got a spring in their step and they're floating on clouds, or they're running on the moon, just jumping, bound. They're like little happy Teletubbies because they got control of Trump. Used to, you'd hear him at a 2 a.m. interview, they say national news, Trump slurring his words, 25th Amendment in the first administration and the last 4 years before he won. And I'd go check it. It was always a 2 a.m. interview when he was on the trail, totally exhausted. I'm slurring my words at 10 o'clock at night, even though I haven't been drinking any. And I've been up at 4 a.m. and I'm still on air at 10 o'clock at night. I literally will fall asleep while I'm on air because I'm still focusing. I'll kind of go, eat a big meal, I'm done. He's 79 years old. So I would check the times that he was slurring his words or saying weird stuff. It was exhaustion. This ain't exhaustion now. He's talking like a Fruit Loop in the morning and at noon and at 5 p.m. and at 10 p.m. You still see old flair. You still see him kind of conscious here and there. But I know workaholics. I'm one. I know other workaholics, alpha, super type A's. And what happens is when you work, because I've stayed up for 2 days before on just coffee, not any stimulants other than that. And I started getting batty and weird like a day and a half into it. Well, Trump basically doesn't sleep. They say he sleeps even less now. His ankles are all swollen up. That's evidence of congenital heart problems. And so this is so horrific because I'm going to talk about more later, but we needed Trump to succeed. And the midterms now, those are not just in question, they're in deep trouble. But unfortunately, I'm not even having to worry about that right now because the big problem is the world economic collapse with the Strait of Hormuz and potential nuclear war escalating. So it's like the old saying, oh, sorry, you slammed your thumb with a hammer driving a nail. Here, just cut that thumb off. That'll make it feel better. How about we cut the whole arm off? I felt bad because I had no shoes, so I saw a man who had no feet. So my grandfather would always tell my dad, he would complain a little bit when he was a kid. And he would, he had sayings like that about how bad feeling sorry for yourself is and how blaming other people is a big problem. And he didn't want to hear talk. He wanted to see results. Action. So that's a long intro, Victor, but we are in such a historically dangerous moment. It is horrifyingly dangerous, and it's escalating out of control. You've got the floor here to give us wherever you want to go first, whatever you want to talk about first. And is Trump salvageable? He seems to be more pig-headed. He's signaling he's going to get rid of Tulsi Gabbard. They're demonizing Joe Kent. We have to admit, this is pretty hellish. Victor Bout, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hi. You're absolutely right. It's a 100% hellish situation, and hellish doesn't matter where you take it. It would be either, complete disaster, which means we are already in the World War IV, because to say it World War III, maybe to say nothing, and danger escalating every day. And the problem is, as you said, Trump completely flip on everybody. He flipped on you guys who literally, brought and created MAGA movement, those who've been supporting him, those
that were
who've been
sued
really
and put in prison and censored and debanked and
Correct.
tortured. And he goes to all the never-Trumper enemies.
Correct. And he put even those, who've been arrested after January 6th, and being there, locked up until they start being releasing, even betrayed, I guess, everybody in America, but not only this. Problem is, we don't know what is Epstein coalition have got on him, how he jumped into this without, thinking. And now there is no way out. You've been, correctly saying he stuck his dick into this beehive, and now is no way getting it out without, losing something. Good if he just lose his dick, but problem is now what is at stake? Not only, future of America, but literally he started the crisis, which is very difficult to even, straighten up or stop, even if tomorrow it's all stopped, because damage is so severely. First of all, he completely destroyed all allies in the Middle East, correct? And now, by trying and committing these war crimes, destroying civilian infrastructure in Iran, he forcing Iran to respond almost, symmetrically, trying to also warn that, okay, you destroyed our university, we destroyed all American universities in the Middle East. You destroyed our hospitals, we gotta start shooting in the, Israeli hospitals. Yes, we know very little from Israel what is the real damage there. But since the Iran, every day on this, war using more and more sophisticated missiles and drones, that's definitely a big problem for the civilian population in Israel. The same, it's a huge catastrophe, humanitarian catastrophe for those who've been killed in Iran. And now it's becoming like almost indiscriminate hitting of the civilian targets. Did the Trump achieve its target to replace the regime? Answer is completely no. And this is the biggest mistake, because what he did now, he consolidated Iranians, and they, believe me, will stay till the end. But this is a kind of the, just a surface part. What is if we go a little bit deeper in this, dark waters, what's going on? Look, the situation is follow. Just several days ago, Ukraine attacked massively on the Baltic ports of Russia, where there is a main gate to export the oil. And then Ukrainians claiming, oh, we just attacked it. And it was a definitely, orchestrated, not by Ukrainians, but most probably by the British. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to cause Russia reaction to start the war with the NATO, thinking that the United States going to jump in. So
it's a repeat of Operation Spiderweb, trying to strike Russia to get Russia sucked in, which again is totally insane.
It's insane. But moreover, think of this logic. There is a crisis of energy. Now you're trying to shut down export from Baltic Sea, which will only exacerbate the crisis. Then the oil will jump up to what, $200 a barrel? How it will affect everybody in United States or in Europe. And the Zelensky, who depends on the oil he was getting before diesel from the Hungary, because Russia would pumping the oil into Hungary through this pipeline, which called.
So let me throw this in just to show that, you obviously more than I do, but obviously the British are at the heart of the globalist system. Larry Fink admits he loves this war. They want a global collapse so they can have a Marshall Plan for the world. They want energy to crash. They can then blame Trump for all of it, and the Iranians, and they're wanting a global depression right now, and that's why they're also striking at Russian energy. I mean, this is just totally terroristic. Trump is like a light bulb going out, okay? And when they're about to go out, they shine brighter for a minute, and they get dark for a second, and for a couple of days sometimes they'll kind of go on and off, the old incandescent. He'll still have moments of genius. He still does a lot of great things. And he's come out a bunch and said, give Netanyahu a pardon. That'll take pressure off of him. And I saw it at the time, and I'm like, don't give that crook a pass. Wait a minute. Maybe Putin should just come out and say, because we know he listens to him, Netanyahu, at least to some position. They had to divert Russia with Ukraine to be able to get Syria and hand it over to the leader of Al-Qaeda. I mean, it's so immoral. Putin says, listen, we know you're in trouble. We'll give you $5 billion and a guaranteed, 100 square miles in Russia you can live, and you can have 100 of your own security people, like Russia already does for everybody, gets to have a place to get out. Even U.S. spies, it's like, seriously. Or maybe in back channels say, listen, we'll give you $5 billion and we'll let you move here, because he knows he's going to prison. His back's against the wall. The Iranians are against the wall. Trump's out of his mind. I don't say that with pleasure. It's really obvious. Once you got ankles this big, you have heart failure. He's got cuts all over him. He babbles half the time now. And they always said that before. It wasn't true. He'd get exhausted and would slur. But now Trump's in trouble, folks. And so looking at pressure points, ways to fix this. We can talk all day and do an excellent job at the problem, so am I, and the immediacy of this real crisis. But Victor Bout, talking about the pressure point of Netanyahu or other pressure points, how do we grab world peace out of the mouth of world Armageddon?